Hi, this is a P4 lesson on heat. And to begin the lesson, we start off with a trigger activity by asking the pupils to guess from the images what they will be studying about. So I will erase and review the images, and from the images itself, they can actually identify that heat is present in each of the scenario. So with some basic form of understanding, we will proceed to tell the pupils about the lesson objectives and what they can achieve at the end of the day, which is to identify some common sources of heat and investigate why our sense of touch is not an accurate and reliable measurement of temperature. So we also show them the lesson itinerary. So the uses of heat in real life context, which is covered, identifying the heat sources through a story, how heat affects us, and a group task on investigating our sense of touch before we end off the lesson. So to start the lesson, we will use a context which children are familiar with, a story about the Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So basically, the story continues until the stage whereby they mentioned that Goldilocks was dressed in only a thin layer of dress, and she started to feel cold, and she met up with an old lady, and the children are tasked to give some suggestions on how the old lady can provide Goldilocks to help her get warm. So they will begin a class discussion, and they will post their suggestions on an online post-it board called Linowit, and these are the answers that has been generated during the lesson. So after consolidating all the responses, I will move on to introduce what are some sources of heat, and to let them have a feel of actually everything around us is made of particles that shake and vibrate constantly. So I utilize the interactive feature of the magic pen tool, and I is able to show the pupils an enlarged view of the particles so that they can zoom in and have a better understanding of the vibration of particles. Right, so for an assessment to check their understanding, so I utilize the interactive whiteboard, the LAT tool, the lesson activity toolkit to assess their understanding. So I'll get them to start identifying some natural sources of heat. So okay, they will click on the correct answer, and it gives an instantaneous feedback. Okay, moving on from the assessment for learning, we will proceed on to the extension part, whereby the pupils will be grouped into groups of 4 or 5. Then they will investigate why is Goldilocks having a fever, and they will use a experiment to prove their hypothesis. So they'll embark on and carry out the instructions from Google Documents, which is found here. Okay. To prove that Goldilocks is not having a fever, first they must, the instructions are being spelled out clearly. So through this experiment, they will discover that their sense of touch is not accurate all the time, and they will consolidate all their responses on this Google document, and to end off the lesson, the teacher will do to address the misconception and conduct the lesson summary to end off the lesson. Thank you.